Religious conflict is caused by intolerance against another's religious beliefs or practices. Much war and death has emerged from these conflicts.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
The two blasts in nightclubs on Bali's famous Kuta Strip killed 202 people, many of whom were foreign tourists.
From the riot zone, and that's because a newspaper photographer has been shot.
Norwegian police say at least 84 people have been killed in a shooting spree at a youth camp in the island of Utøya near the capital Oslo.
The terrorists struck one of the city's most reassuring everyday symbols, a London bus, the number 30 from Hackney to Marble Arch.
The sound of religious war sounds very ironic and complicated due to the fact that the point of religion is for peace in your mind and a way to guide you into becoming a better person. Every day I go through my life as a Catholic kid in the United States. I get to go to church and do my religious practices with no scare of being discriminated against for my religion. But as I read about other countries and regions in the world, I have learned that it is not any way similar to where I live. In places like the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, I hear about deaths, hate crimes, and people even leaving where they live to get away from the religious conflict. Here in the United States, people go through their daily values and customs just like the people in other regions, but still, we don't have the hate crimes that we hear about in other regions. That is why I have chosen the question of why does the United States have less religious conflict compared to the rest of the world, even though we have the same or even more religious diversity than most places? Why do you think there is more religious conflict in other parts of the world than there is here in the United States?
I think people in other countries take religion more seriously than people in the United States take religion.
This is a chart showing the importance of religion in people's lives. The countries that are in first are from Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, having pretty much all people say in the 80% or 90% saying it is important in their lives. As you can see, America is only in the 54%, and the countries that are in front are the ones that have the most religious war. In places where most of this conflict is happening, I know that the government is one of the main reasons why it is happening there. In the past and present, religious groups like the Muslims and others have controlled the land and government. This was called a theocracy. This government type is said to be that the religious leaders would guide the people to the right path, but truly have been known to force people on a new religion and leave their old one behind, which will obviously lead to conflict. George Washington once said there should be a fine line between religion and the federal government. This became true when the Constitution was signed in September 17, 1787. The First Amendment does not only allow freedom of speech, but also freedom of religion, saying that the government cannot step in or discriminate against any religion, even if they do not agree with it.
I don't think that there's a lot of religious conflict here in the USA because of the democracy that we have, which is different than the dictatorships in Africa, Europe, and in the Middle East.
Here in the USA, like Josh said, the democracy we have is one, not allowed to pick or favorite a certain religion, but also must allow freedom of religion. This will cause harmony and peace within the people because they are all allowed to follow the religion or whatever they believe in peace. Here is a pie chart of the First Amendment freedom most likely to be threatened. As you can see, freedom of religion and freedom of speech are both in first. Showing that there is not a huge difference between the two and not a huge percentage of one shows that it is not a huge problem in the United States. Part of the reason why this religious conflict is happening is because others try to spread the word of their religion to others. This causes people to think that they're disrespecting or saying different about their religion, which will cause problems.
Naturally, I will try to impose it on other people. I don't call it imposition, I call it saving you from ignorance. Yes or no? Once I firmly believe that this is the way God is, I will try to put it on to you, just to save you, not to hurt you. But you will get hurt, because any imposition hurts.
Showing from my research, almost 80% of wars are caused by religion. This shows me that when it comes to Holy Land and equality, wars and hate crimes can easily break out. In conclusion, the USA does not have the religious conflict other regions do, even though having the same or more religious diversity, mainly because of the democracy we have, the Constitution, and not worrying about land struggle. The freedom we have here gives the people the right to believe and say what they want, causing less religious conflict within the people. In other regions, based off my research, if it's not the government's fault, it is the people's fault, disagreeing with each other and fighting for their own religion. Also, the United States does not have the religious hate crimes and civil war like the Middle East, Europe, and India has, because our government is not allowed to choose a certain religion or favorite one, causing equality throughout the whole country. This even leads to people moving from their homes to the USA to get away from the religious conflict.